Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel HGiG for All. In today's video, my picture settings with the Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5 in combination with my HGiG. Enjoy! Okay, and we're starting with the settings in the consoles because my picture settings on the LG CX are the same for both consoles. Okay, and we're starting with the Xbox Series X. And what you can do is you go to TV and display options, and the first thing what you can do is go into 4K TV details. In this menu, the Xbox tells you what your TV is capable of or what are the settings currently are. Okay, so in this case everything is just hunky-dory. Okay, back to the main screen, and here we have two very important options. First of all is the resolution, where you can choose, or in my case, I can choose between 4K, 1440p, 1080p and 720p, but this depends of course what monitor is connected to the Xbox. Also very important is the refresh rate, and if you have an TV with a higher refresh rate, I would strongly recommend to set this to the highest possible setting what you can do. In this case, HGiG is offering 120 Hz, which also means just the input lag from around 7 milliseconds over 14 milliseconds in the 60 Hz mode. Okay, another very important menu option is the video modes. So here I have to explain a couple of things. So by standard, I think almost everything is pre-selected by the Xbox according to what the TV can do. Okay, so there are a couple of things. What was not selected is allow YCC 422. So this is not a must. Okay, this is just really if you have issues with 4K material on your screen, you can allow the Xbox to downsample the output signal. So at the moment I think it's set actually to RGB 10-bit, and by the way, to get this menu on the HGiG you have the green button and you just press a couple of times very quickly, and then it will come up every time on a different corner, by the way. And right now we have RGB 10-bit for lane 10 and VRR, variable refresh rate selected. Okay, so what else do we have here? Allow 50 Hz, of course, for 50 Hz material, 24 Hz is for Blu-ray and stuff like this. Allow auto low latency mode is for switching the TV automatically into game mode. Okay, so keep this ticked. Allow variable refresh rate is I would also keep this on, because even you have disabled FreeSync on your HGiG, you still have HDMI variable refresh rate in HDMI 2.1. What do we have here? Allow 4K. Very important that this is ticked, okay? Because what happened at the moment, calibrate HDR for games, and the TV goes automatically in HDR mode, okay? So if I'm now unticking this one, I can't use HDR anymore, okay? See, your TV currently, TV setup does not support HDR, okay? So make sure if you want to use HDR that this one is ticked. Okay, the next setting is allow HDR10, which allows the Xbox to go into the HDR mode. Next point is auto HDR, which is really just for SDR gaming. And in this case, I will just disable it, because what does this setting is doing is it tries to push SDR games into an, I would say fake HDR mode. And in my opinion, if a game doesn't support HDR natively, I don't like to have any fake HDR, to be honest. Okay, last point here is allow Dolby Vision. And if this setting is grayed out on your HGiG at the moment, then it is more likely because you haven't disabled FreeSync on your HGiG. So under additional settings, AMD FreeSync options, HDMI 3 is my Xbox, it is not enabled because FreeSync and Dolby Vision doesn't work at the same time. It is not working together, okay? So, but this is not a big issue because we still have variable refresh rate active, VRR, when you select this menu point here. Okay, so the next menu option is video fidelity and overscan, and here we have the display option. I would strongly recommend not to change anything here. Leave it on auto detected as recommended, because this is the option how the Xbox is deciding what resolution you can choose in the menu. Okay, and if you set something wrong here, then you can't select the right resolution in the other menu. Okay, so leave this on auto detected. What you can change here depends on your screen from 8, 10 or 12 bit. So I changed this from 8 bit to 10 bit. If I'm changing this to 12 bit, it will not work. So I will leave it on 10 bit. And now to color space. And again, also I would recommend to leave it on standard. You can of course change it to PC RGB, but then make sure your TV is doing the right thing. And what I mean with this is, so if you change this, they will come up with a warning. We're switching anyway. So because now what is changing is the RGB level. So the standard RGB level is, you have to press yes. The standard RGB level is from 16 to 235. That's the video standard. Okay, so for the PC standard, we have full RGB, which means 0 to 255, which is for PC. So they decided back then to have a video standard and a PC standard, or something like this. So you can do this. You can change it to PC RGB, but then make sure. And by the way, it's working just perfectly with the HGiG, so I don't have any issues with changing the RGB levels in any console or in any PC. But anyway, so make sure black level, that's the option or the counterpart to the option in the Xbox. So on the HGiG, this is working perfect. The auto mode on the HGiG is just working perfectly, and it always can see or knows what the console or the PC is sending. So right now it must be high because PC RGB is high. So it would be very nice if the TV manufacturer can actually change this also to PC RGB or to PC setup or whatever, and low change it to limited. Okay, because so now what you can see is, so first of all, auto and high, there's no difference. You can't see any difference on it, any brightness difference. So this means the TV has selected the right RGB level on the HGiG. So when I'm going now to low, you can see by low it's getting darker, which means it's now wrong. Okay, so we're changing the spec, and I'm also changing the spec to standard, which means limited. And of course, yes. So now we are on standard, and now when I'm going to low, can you see there's no change, sorry. And now when I'm going to high, it's getting much higher, so also wrong. Okay, so you can do it in both ways. You can select PC here, but then go for high, or make sure your TV is doing the right thing. But as always, I would recommend just leave it on the standard, because they know exactly what they're doing, and the TV knows exactly what they're doing, so everything is hunky-dory. Okay, so what do we have here? Just go out here. Come on. What else do we have here? Apps can add a border. Yeah. I just left this ticked. I don't know actually what this option is doing. Okay, so back in the main menu. So we have select everything. We have ticked every box as we like to have it, and now we can calibrate our TV. So I haven't done the SDR calibration, I have done the HDR calibration. So this is for SDR, where the TV shows you a couple of test patterns, and then you should, according to those test patterns, you set up your contrast, your brightness, and so on. But to be very honest, if your HGiG out of the box and you haven't changed anything, then just leave it like it is. Okay, so, and we're talking about the picture setting a little bit later, because I told you for both consoles I'm using the same picture settings on the HGiG. Okay, this is just to verify that everything is as it should be. Okay, So how can I, yeah, done. Okay. Calibrate HDR for games on the Xbox Series X is also important. The same for the PlayStation 5, okay? So, and it's, by the way, the same setting. It's the same way to set up HDR. So the only difference is, and this is really, yeah, I'm not sure what I should say about dynamic tone mapping on HGiG, because I'm still don't know. So in some games, you just can use dynamic tone mapping because there is no HGiG support in the game, and the game has to support it, in my opinion. But in some games, I really like the HGiG mode over the dynamic tone mapping on mode, because it is not so bright, the picture. So in my opinion, dynamic tone mapping on is over bright in the picture. It is very, very bright, and it hurts my eyes, to be honest. HGiG on the other hand, it is really just brighten up the bright objects like I don't know, flames or lights or something like this, you know, highlighted objects, not the whole picture, but different story. It's completely up to you, of course, but again, in my opinion, HGiG has to be supported by the game, otherwise you can't use it. Okay, and there is probably a very good indicator if a game is supporting HGiG or not. So if you can find an HDR slider in a game where you can set the maximum brightness, let's say from HDR from 500 to 4000 candela or whatsoever, then it is more likely that this game is not supporting HGiG. Because what HGiG is doing is controlling all this HDR stuff for you. Okay, so it's taking the information from the picture, from the screen, it's sending this information to the console. The console is taking those information. The game knows, oh, there's HGiG active, I'm using this profile, and so on and so on. This is what I think how it works. Again, game has to support HGiG and no voice. I will do more testing about this because I'm still very interested in material like this, and I need to find out, or I like to find out, what is actually going on. But okay, back to this. We leave it on dynamic tone mapping on at the moment, and all what you have to do is really just follow the instructions, and I have done this already. So this is, you should barely see, it's very hard with the light, barely see the checkerboard. This is the next, you should barely see the checkerboard. This is right now this one, and here the same. And that's it. That's your HDR calibration on the Xbox Series X, which is almost the same, or it's absolutely the same on the PlayStation 5. Okay, so last option here, or menu option, is device control, and the HDMI CEC control, which just means it allows your Xbox to control other devices like the TV. So that means if you turn off your Xbox, the TV will turn off, and so on. But depends if this is really working together. It can be that it's not working. So that's why it is probably not checked or not ticked by default. So have I covered everything here on the Xbox? I think so. So let's move on to the PlayStation 5. Okay, and here we are with the PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 5 menu is much smaller than the Xbox Series X menu, but you have a similar page like on the Xbox, where the PlayStation is telling you what your TV is supporting, so, or what is the current setting. So in my case, it's 4K, 60 Hz, color format is RGB, HDCP it's turned off because of my capturing card. HDR is supported, of course, and those are the frequencies. There is no 120 Hz support because I have connected the PlayStation to my capturing card, and my capturing card is outputting to the TV. But anyway, those are the actual or the current settings, and we have, of course, more or less the same. So resolution, it's on automatic, and I would actually recommend to use it on automatic, because anyway it's set to 4K in the standard. So video transfer rate, so at the moment we have really RGB 8-bit, by the way. So compared to Xbox, you can change it to 10-bit. we don't have an option like this here. So the maximum what you can output is 8-bit, okay? But also with the video transfer rate, when you change this to -2 probably, then you will see a difference here. And now we have YCBCR420, which is a slightly lower quality signal than RGB. So I would recommend to use this automatically. This option, come back. Now we have RGB 8-bit and HDR is off at the moment. Why? And I'm really a little bit, I have to say, pissed with Sony, because if you put this on automatic, which is the standard, by the way, when you turn on your console for the first time, then it will output HDR every time. So now, right now, we are in HDR. And to be very honest, here HDR picture mode. To be very honest, I don't like this, because why do I need HDR in my menus, in my PlayStation Store? Why do I need this? Okay, so that's why I have turned this off for now. I'll leave it on for now, for now to show you actually the calibration process. After this, so deep color output has to be on automatic if you like to use HDR. Okay, if you turn this off, there's no HDR possible. Okay, so just leave it on automatic. And RGB range, we talked about the same on the Xbox Series X. It's exactly the same. Leave it on automatic because the standard is anyway set to limit on the PlayStation, the same as on the Xbox. So just leave it, no harm. Okay, so now that's it, by the way. There's no freezing settings. There's no setting for 120 Hz whatsoever. There's nothing. Sony, I have to say, this is it's too less. It's too less. I like to set my TV to 120 Hz if I have a 120 Hz TV. And I know where you come from, Sony, because your TVs barely support 120 Hz. So anyway, just work on this, Sony, okay? This is my recommendation, okay? Great console, but here we lacking some options, to be honest. And it's not about the hardware. The hardware is the same on the Xbox. It is just a matter of software, okay? Anyway, adjusting HDR. And again, my HDR is set on dynamic tone mapping on, and it's the same here. You just choose, well, actually I have to check if it's here actually really set to HGiG or dynamic tone mapping, because it's a different input. It can be that I did some testing. Oh yeah, and it's set to HGiG on the PlayStation 5. Okay, never mind, doesn't matter. It is the same procedure. Just follow the instruction on the screen, and that's how it works. And now it is calibrated. That's it. So again, what I don't like is we have a very nice picture at the moment because this is HDR, but I don't like it. My TV now is running the whole time on 100% OLED light, and I don't think this is necessary. Okay, but back to the settings. So we finished all the settings from the video output. We just have a screen left where you can adjust your display area. I haven't seen these options, to be honest, on the Xbox Series X, or did I miss it? Maybe, I don't know. So, but anyway, so just change it on, yeah, to your screen. That's it. And I choose dim screen while inactive after 5 minutes because of HDR. So Blu-ray, DVD, it's not interesting for me. I think we covered all the settings from the consoles, and now we're moving on to the settings on my LG CX. Okay, so let's start with the picture settings from my LG CX in the HDR mode. And before we start with this, I saw a couple of videos recently on YouTube, people recommending to change the input from the normal gaming mode or normal HDMI input to PC input or mode. And what I'm talking about is actually this. You go to your home dashboard, you go to settings, and you go to edit, and you choose the input where your console is connected, and you change this. Instead of HDMI, you change it to PC, okay? So I'm not doing this because a couple of reasons. what I found, first of all, you don't have the same options anymore when you use PC mode. So there are a couple of menus restricted or grayed out, such as the color management system or the gamma. Gamma, you can't choose it in HDR as well because it's HDR, but also in the SDR, when you use PC mode, you can't change your gamma anymore. You can't change dynamic contrast if you like to use this, and so on and so on. And also what I found, and I haven't verified this, but I'm very sure what I have seen so far. So usually the color gamut is set to auto, or this should be the standard setting on the LG CX, and then the TV decides what color gamut he is using. So for REC he used the normal REC 709, for BT 2020 the white color gamut, and so on. But what I found is when you change this input to PC, it looks like to me it switches to the white color gamut, because all the colors what I found so far are just too vivid, oversaturated in my opinion. Anyway, I will verify this in a separate video. Right now we're talking about my picture settings in HDR on the LG CX. So OLED light is 100%, contrast 100, brightness 50, sharpness 0. I changed this from 10 to 0. Color is 55. Advanced controls. Dynamic contrast is off. Dynamic tone mapping, we talked about this. Super resolution is also off. So I really don't like all this image enhancer or whatever you call this. I don't like this. I like to have the same picture what goes out from the or comes out from the console, goes into the TV. I like to see exactly the same picture, nothing else. Okay. Color gamut, this is what we talked about. I'm very sure, I don't know if you can see this on your camera, but when you change this from auto to white, the red is very vivid, and this is wrong because this is calibrated, this TV. Okay, it has to be on auto, and it looks to me PC mode is changing sorry, changing this to vivid, to white. Sorry. Moving on, white balance. So, and now we see here color temperature to cool, and this is because I have calibrated my TV through the service menu, and I put a link in the description what I'm talking about. So you can calibrate the TV to your picture settings, but then you have to do this for every picture setting. Okay, so let's say you calibrate a game mode, then you have to do it for expert dark or for the filmmaker mode again, or you just copy and paste your values. But you can't copy just with one click. You can't copy your values from game mode to expert mode. So you have to do this manually, which takes a long time. If you calibrate through the service menu, then you do it once for all the settings. Okay. So what I have done is I calibrated the color temperature cool to the D65 standard for SDR, and I will do the warm 3. I think I will use the warm 3 for calibrating the D65 for HDR, because maybe there's a little bit of a difference in the colors or white point between SDR and HDR. Let's see. So right now I haven't done the HDR calibration to the service menu so far. That's why I'm using the cool. But if you haven't done anything in regards to calibration so far on your TV, and you're using the game mode, which I would recommend, then the game mode is coming out of the box with medium setting, which is too bluish. Absolutely, in my opinion, rubbish, because it is just blue. Change this to warm 2 if you want to play in a very close D65 standard. Warm 2 is very close to my calibrated settings on the TV. Okay. So 2-point calibration or 22-point calibration, I'm not showing you here because I don't have any values in the picture settings. Everything is in the service menu. And if you like to see my settings for the picture settings, also there's a couple of links in the description what you can look at, and you can try those settings for your TV. But just keep in mind, those settings what I have done or what I calibrated are my settings for my TV. It can fit your TV or it can't, okay? So, but you can't do any harm. You just try it out, give it a try and just tell me what you think, okay? So what else do we have? Color management system is the same. There is nothing in because actually I haven't calibrated this at all on the HDR mode so far. What else do we have? Picture options. So everything again is set on off. This is in the game mode by standard, I think, because you don't want to have noise reduction, ambient noise reduction. You just don't want to have this, okay? Here, black level again, we talked about this. Just leave it on auto. And I would also not recommend to use true motion. So because I also had a couple of comments, I bought this TV and now my game's looking absolutely stuttering and whatsoever. It just looks terrible when I'm playing 30 frames games, and yes, this can be, and the problem is really the TV. And it's not because the TV is faulty, it is because the TV is too good for 30 frames per second games, because the TV shows really what is going on the console. And if there's a really bad implementation of a 30 frame game, which you know, stuttering all the time in 30 frames, then you will see exactly the same result on the screen. If you play the same game on a very cheap LCD with a bad response time from the panel, then you probably think, oh, this is very smooth, but to be honest, it is just blurry and not sharp at all. So keep this in mind. HGiG is a high-end TV. If you feed the TV with 30 frames per second, crap, to be honest, I have to say it like this, then no wonder, don't expect any wonder. It doesn't work like this. Feed the TV with 120 frames per second game, and this is what the TV likes. So, what else do we have? That's it from the HDR settings. And let's move to the SDR settings. Okay, and here we are with my SDR settings for my gaming consoles and my PC. And it's actually really absolutely the same for the PC, for the Xbox and for the PlayStation. OLED light is at 30 because 30 is very close to 100 candela. I think it's 105 or whatsoever. And the SDR range is, or the reference is 100 candela. So that's why I'm calibrating to 100 candela as well. Contrast is 85, that's the standard. Again, brightness 50. Sharpness, I changed it from 10 to 0 again. Color still at 55. Let's go to advanced control. It is exactly the same. Gamma is 2.2. This is your own preference, to be honest, in the SDR mode, because you can change it. Not in HDR. In SDR you can change it, but it's purely up to you. Absolutely up to you. Just keep in mind, the standard is 2.2 to 2.35 or 2.4, something like this. So 1.9 is actually not really a standard anymore, but can be maybe helpful when you play very dark games. Okay, but for me, 2.2 is perfect for gaming. White balance, again the same. I use cool. You use on your TV warm 2, okay? Warm 2. Do not use cool, okay? This is just for my TV, okay? In the gaming mode, you use warm 2, please, okay? Oh my god, cool, warm. Anyway, there's also nothing in. Again, check out my calibration videos if you like to change your calibration on your TV. The same for color management system. There's nothing in at the moment because so far, I have to say the color management in the REC 709 works really well. Out of the box, it is almost, it is very accurate out of the box. Of course, not perfect, but it is good enough to enjoy the TV, to be very honest. Okay, so what else do we have? We have, of course, energy saving stuff and additional settings. Okay, and when I'm talking about energy saving options and additional settings, then I mean, and I just figured this out because we did this video, go to general AI services, and I found this is still on. I don't know why. I don't like automatic brightness control at all, you know. I like to set my TV stuff as I like it, and do not touch my settings TV, okay? I don't know why this was still on. I need to check my other settings as well. Can be because maybe I did a factory reset or whatever. But anyway, make sure that nothing of this picture helpers or whatever you call this is on, because at the end it can be, yeah, can be a worse picture than before. Okay, on picture, energy saving. So make sure this is on off, because it can, yeah, it will dim your screen and stuff like this. Auto is very bad because it will just change your screen brightness all the time depending on, yeah, the power consumption and so on and so on. It's just keep it on off, okay? Also very important is the aspect ratio settings, and just scan. Make sure this is on, because if it's on off, can you see what's happened? So let me explain what is just scan. We're talking about a 4K TV. We're talking about a 4K input signal to the TV. So it's exactly the same, one by one. And we like to have this one by one on the TV. And this is just happening with just scan on or on auto. But I wouldn't trust auto on this. So if it's on off, it's not one by one, okay? So it's just wrong. Just put it on, in my opinion, and you're good to go. Okay, then we're moving on to additional settings, and we have here a couple of very important options. HDMI Ultra HD color must be on, but this will be, so if it's not turned on and you're connecting your Xbox, PlayStation the first time on a HDMI, the TV will turn it on by its own, because it will recognize, oh, there's a HDR device or whatsoever, I need to turn this on. Instant game response is a must. Turn it on, because this is important for your low input lag. And just keep in mind, in 60 Hertz, this TV has an input lag around 14 milliseconds. In 120 Hertz, it has around 7 milliseconds, something like this, okay? So whenever you can, use this TV in 120 Hertz, okay? So that's why I'm a little bit pissed with Sony, because there's no 120 Hertz options in the menu. Okay, what else do we have? Of course, AMD FreeSync. And by the way, there is no AMD FreeSync on the PlayStation, so there's no point to actually turn this on for AMD or for the PlayStation 5. So let's turn this off, of course. And what do we have now? Filmmaker mode, change, auto change. No, we keep this off. OLED screensaver, okay? So we have our screen shift, which when you turn this on, from time to time will just move your screen around. I turned this off because, yeah, again, I like to have a one by one picture, okay? And here, pixel refresher, you can start this pixel refresher from time to time. I wouldn't recommend to do this too often, because it will also stress your panel, of course, yeah? So don't do it too often. And to be honest, I haven't tried this in gaming. I'm not sure if this is actually working for gaming. But anyway, I'm not sure if it was on or off by standard, but I will recommend to use it in off, okay? So, and I think that's it. Hopefully I didn't miss any options or any settings. So if I did, so just put this in the comments, okay? So then I can follow up on this, and I can answer some questions in the comments. And just keep in mind, I'm not a professional calibrator, I'm not a professional TV manufacturer, whatever. I'm just trying to share my experience, and maybe my experience in some way is wrong, can be. So just put this in a comment if you think I said something wrong, because I like to learn as well. So, and then we can, improve. So that's for this video, I would say. Anything else? No. I really need to play something right now. Okay, I really need to do something, and I really hope you subscribe to my channel, because I like to get my 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible, and this is a big milestone for me, to be very honest. I'm so happy, I'm so thankful how this channel is evolving at the moment, and I'm working on my English. I know that some people doesn't like my English, spelling mistakes and whatever, but this is how it is, to be honest. That's it. I can't change it at the moment. I'm improving, hopefully, every time when I'm doing a new video. And yeah, let's see. Let's see what video I'm doing next, okay? Maybe Demon's Souls, really, because I'm really looking forward to play this game, really. Okay, anyway, that's for this video. Thank you very much for watching me. Leave me a comment, please. Subscribe to my channel. Take care, and I see you next time. Bye.